Awesome. All right. So how is this week for everyone? How are you all feeling?
Good.
Yeah, it was good. We knocked it out on Monday and it was fun.
Yeah, it's nice to see things starting to come together more. It's really exciting to see where kind of we're leading to.
Yeah, good. We
Awesome.
done everything on Monday when I had vacation.
Yeah, I think we were racing. You guys got yours in like 30 minutes before us. We were going through our pull requests. I'm like, oh, it's there.
Yes.
Awesome. Is there a team that would like to do their demos first?
Yeah, we can go. I think we're number 3, so let's do
Awesome.
it.
Take it away.
Okie dokie. I know I say this every time, but there's no green line. Are you seeing the app?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay, perfect. Should have a big green line on it. Okay, so welcome to our shopping app. When you're a brand new user, first time here, you'll still come to our homepage and you'll see the button that says create new list. When you click on it, a list token will automatically be generated. And so you can see it over here in local history where it'll get stored. And so everything that you add to your list will be linked to that 3-word token right there. There's no way to go back to home view after you have a token, because that's the check to see if you are a new person or not. We can clear it and everything will work again. So if there is no token in local history, you get to see that. That's our functionality. Now, I forgot to open up the code first, so give me a second. Give VS Code a second. Okay, so we did everything in the home component, but there's some new stuff. We brought in use effect to work our token check. We also brought in get token. This is from the shopping list utils. It's another one of the functions in there. So we're bringing that in to generate that random 3-word token. When you get to the page for the first time, the very first thing that happens is check token is run. Check token checks in local storage to see if there is a token available. And if so, you're automatically sent to the list view with navigate. So that redirects you immediately. And DJ.
Cool. So assuming that there is not a token there, we don't have a list yet. We do have the next function down here, which is just handle new lists, which is an async function, which will, again, create that 3-word string that we're working with, and then set that as a list token in your local storage. And from there, we did decide to go ahead and send this to Firebase and create a new collection that we're calling token right now. I don't know how this is going to look down the road. We'll probably end up changing this a little bit, but yeah, pretty straightforward. This is actually the same kind of syntax and everything that we used last week for adding items. So this is pretty much straight from the Firestore docs. I guess the one thing to kind of point out just for future reference is that navigate is the correct way of using, instead of history.push, which is version 5 and before, version 6 React Router, it's just navigate and then the URL that you want it to go to. Yeah, and then down at the bottom is just kind of a very simple div that we have set up. And again, we were kind of debating on whether or not we would even have a home page or a home component, what that would look like. But, this definitely works for now. So it's just a simple button down there that's going to handle the on-click function that we listed above. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
questions.
I'll go.
Does use history not exist in version 6 now, or is it just like they've kind of refactored it and Navigate is more proper?
It doesn't. Use history is not a thing in version 6.
Okay.
Interesting. So
yeah, they've changed a lot.
If you try to import it, it'll just raise an error saying it doesn't export from that module anymore. So yeah, and I have to always look this up because I like, to me, like history.push was so like easy to remember. And it's just like navigate. Is it like just navigate and then the URL? Like what is it? So yeah, we definitely had to look that up.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you all did a great job. And yeah, everything looks nice and clean. I like that, you just have that kind of simple splash page landing page, because that way you have that place to create a token from. It's very clear whether you have that token or not, right? Because if you land up on the shopping list page, you already have it. If not, kind of it could be a developer thing, but sometimes it's even better from the developer when you are on a team. Like someone's like, wait, do I have a token? Do I not have a token? And like having that clear delineation visually, like it's helpful. So awesome job.
We still have to figure out how we're going to handle the homepage where you can add someone else's token. So that we might end up having to undo the takes you right there. But we'll wait until we get to that point and see what makes the most sense or we like the best.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Awesome. All right. Lindsay and Elena, you all want to go?
Yes, I'll share. You can use my screen. So on the left is our Firebase. I will show you later how it writes to database. It's our app. As a team added the option to create a token. So I'm going to create it now. And we are prompted to our list view, but I switch to add items. So we had to add so we used a form to create, like to help a user handle this add item name option and choose options from options when next time we are going to buy this item and he's going to buy this item. So we used radio buttons and we used field set like to combine all these radio buttons in one like under one field, like it's easier to see it as the option. By default, we made one option, one radio button is chosen. So we use soon, which is equal to 7 days. So if you remember, enter item name, the user has to choose this option and submit, and click the submit button. So we added a notification which says that item was added successfully and it will clear into seconds. We combined radio buttons into an object and here we just match this object. And we made that button disabled, so it is disabled if item name doesn't exist or false. So you need to enter a name, and after that you are able to submit. Yeah, and so we retrieve tokens from the local storage. So it's how it allocates when we on this component, it's how it starts. We check it as a token, and after that we are able to write to the database. Okay, Lindsay, continue.
Yeah, so we are checking for the user's token, and then we'll add any items that they add to their list under their token in our Firebase database. We kind of expanded on some of the logic we built last week, where we were accessing the database and any item stored, but we added more data points that we want to save. So right now we have the item name, the frequency, which represents the number of days a user would purchase this item. Right now we have those options in the HTML form, which represent every 7 days, every 14 days, or every 30 days. And then finally, we also have purchase date, which defaults to null when they're adding an item to their shopping list. We have a pop-up notification once they hit submit on an item and it has been successfully sent to database. So once they enter an item, they select an option. It does default to 7 days soon. They'll get this message saying it was successfully added with the item name. And then it's sent to the Firebase database with their 3-word token, and it compiles into their list. Do you guys have any questions about our list? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this collection would say that so this token was created, and I want to show that like it was created a new collection under this token name, and inside this collection I just added 2 items. So I think it's like in the future we will be sorting and filtering which shopping list we are going to represent in our list. Yeah, and here for now we like reading from database, so we use item name and the frequency, but probably in the future we will keep on the names and use CSS or something else to represent this frequency.
I think some of those undefineds are coming from before we had this naming convention. We were using name, and then we were also using item name. Now we have a naming convention and these data points, so we'll be able to clean up Firebase so that it's no longer undefined and we'll just have our real values.
Yeah, we changed to item, and before we had item text. Any questions? Actually, what do you think about like like LinkedIn? I wasn't sure if we need to do this, but I done this. Like I said, already buttons inside this object, and use the map method. So because we can do it differently, but I decided maybe make it more funny.
I like it. I think it's cool that you have like those different options for the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's nice. It seems like it's using the field set, right? Using the radio buttons. Like that's a good accessibility base. So that's really, like one of the key things early on in your app is like, okay, you may not be putting all the polish on the app, but you want to make sure it has a good skeleton, right? If someone, for some reason doesn't have a modern web browser or they're using a screen reader or anything like that, like you're getting a nice, good, solid foundation in how you're building this. And then it's cool because as you go on, if you want to style it a specific way, like you can add that on later. A lot of times people try to make it look a specific way out of the box. And they're like, oh, like I don't want, say, the lines around field set. So they don't put it in a field set. And then it's like, well, so no, good, solid base. And yeah, I think it's awesome. Both of you clearly understand what you all were working on as you all were able to kind of hand it off and everything. So great job. Any other questions or comments anyone has?
Oh, actually, maybe I have a comment.
Yeah.
Probably, I was thinking maybe we need to add this, as the other team use this, they check if token exists and they navigate to the home page. Maybe we need to add this in here too, because I was trying to clean a local storage, and when I clean it, you see I'm still like on this page, and you see, I'm not redirected to home page now. So I was thinking maybe we need to add this function to add item and this field to, to check if token exists. So we need to, if it's not existing, we need to redirect to home page. What do you think?
Well, I think to even get to this page, it would have to run through our check first, right?
Yeah, but if I can force it, I can do like the home page / add item, for instance, like to crack it, and I will be forwarded to this view or add item.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like that.
Yeah. I mean, we could definitely do a check in add item to make sure that there is a token there.
And we too, probably too.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably we can do it like during next week, right? Because already March.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good that's a good catch, right? And that's a pretty good standard thing. Like we do that in our production app. Like we have some pages where like you would have to know the URL to get to this page, but like if you just copy the URL from someone, like we're gonna do a permissions check first, and we're gonna redirect you before we do anything else if you don't have permissions. And so that makes sense to kind of think of like, hey, this token is kind of like a permission in that way. So makes sense.
And I think in Firestore too, like we can write rules in that tab that says like only a user with like a valid token can write to the database. So like we could have an error showing like if they were somehow to get to that view and try to send something, but they don't have a token, then it wouldn't work. It wouldn't save.
That'd be cool.
So yeah.
All righty. Yay. All right. Well, I think Lauren, over to you for the next section.
Okay, and feel free to chime in if you want, Eddie. We can split the retro part since it was Rudy's part. So has anyone done a retrospective before? Okay, so let me share this in the link. But basically, this is just a chance. Sometimes companies do it at the end of maybe a sprint, like a 2-week sprint, just to talk about things that could be improved, things that went particularly well. And in our case, we want to do some appreciations too, just so that people are kind of recognized. And yeah, we take a moment to like actually think about what everyone contributed. So I will share my screen for this, but I also sent the link. Yeah, I added it in the chat. And so I'll put a timer for about like 6 to 8 minutes, but just take a few minutes. It doesn't have to be very long, and try to add at least one card per column. So just the more specific you can be, the better. If you have specific feedback for maybe, since you worked very closely with some partners, that's great. And also, you know, if there's things that can be improved, that's really useful for us going into the next few weeks. So I will set the timer now. And I guess if anyone finishes early, you can watch me type. But yeah, and go. Okay, my 6-minute alarm just went off. Are we close to being done or do we need a few more minutes? I'm seeing some nodding heads, so I'm guessing we're pretty good. Okay. Okay, great. So if you guys look back on my screen, I'll keep this up and then basically we'll just go down the list. And so when we get to your ticket, please feel free to just either read what's on your ticket or feel free to elaborate or something like that. Just kind of go over what you put. So starting with appreciations, we have Shelley at the top.
You guys have been awesome. Rudy, if he watches this video later, I can't even explain when he said, I wish that I worked with people who gave demos like you. I was just, that felt so good. And that was awesome. But you guys are all so positive and helpful and available. And yeah, it feels really, really, really good.
Do you have, I think I saw some down here. Do you want to do your
Oh, we do have another one. Oh, I have a couple more. So Alina, we had so much fun together. I didn't realize that my React is broken. So it was really nice warm up. You got me caught up really, really fast. And then I also said something about DJ. We worked really well together. I love that he, even though he's in California, gets up incredibly early. We feel like we're on the same time zone and it makes no sense to me. So that's been super.
Oh, great. Lindsay.
Yeah, you guys are up super early, I've noticed. I caught Shelley and Lauren at office hours. They were talking about like projects and things that they were working on, and it really inspired me. Like within 24 hours, I like kept thinking about it. And I thought of my own project that I wanted to build. So I at least wrote it down. I haven't started it, but this is really cool to be around people and everyone's inspiring me to do things. And what a supportive environment. I just like really love it. And then I also gave a shout out to Elena because we had originally like set up our form just kind of like top down, but then she refactored it. And at first I was like, oh, there's a map. Oh, there's like things in a different area. But it was a little like overwhelming from my brain at first, but then she like explained to me what was going on. And then we thought about like ways that it could scale. We could add more options, more data points. I was like, this actually really makes sense. So that was really cool to see like the code being built in a different way, still accomplishing the same things. So I really enjoyed that and getting that perspective this week.
Great.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay. Oh, I think next is me. You guys have been really amazing so far. Really awesome job. Usually I think it takes a little while for people to get into the rhythm since new personalities, you're just meeting each other for the first time, but it feels like you all have been working together for months. And really, honestly, all these things I could say to each of you, but I tried to pick out like one specific thing that struck me this week. So like DJ, you've been really on top of PRs, getting things like rolling right away and offering great advice. And Elena, you gave some really specific and forward-thinking reviews in your PRs. Lindsay, you've brought like great energy and excitement, it feels like, to everything. And I thought you've asked some really thoughtful questions, like even just earlier asking about navigate and use history. And Shelley, you've also been really forward thinking, like earlier with your thoughts about having to adjust for sharing tokens, but you've also been really great at like organizing even demos ahead of time, like, hey, do you want to meet up and talk through this? So that's been really cool to see. And Eddie and Rudy, I've really loved working with you guys so far. You've both been really communicative and flexible, and it actually, people are like splitting the workload, which is so relieving in a teamwork environment. So yeah. DJ?
Yeah, so I did want to shout out to Alina for her comments in the pull request. I haven't had a chance to work with her just quite yet, but I can just tell she's super thoughtful and I really appreciate that. And then to Lindsay and Shelley, who I have worked with, like I have just loved pair programming with you. It's like, it feels like a superpower, like we're like unstoppable and we can, do this really cool stuff in a relatively short amount of time, which is awesome. And then to the mentors, I didn't write this down, but I love Rudy's sense of awe in these meetings because he is always like, he probably learns more than like all of us but I just love that. It's like he's picking this stuff up and it's just like so excited about it. And to see someone who's been doing this a long time and has a lot of experience like with that mindset is really inspiring. So really enjoy the comments that we're getting back from y'all. And also the office hour has been cool because it's just kind of been us hanging out for the most part and just kind of like talking about random stuff. But I enjoy that. I think that's really like meaningful for like building up our relationship. So yeah, thank you.
Eddie.
Yeah, sounds good. I have two in here. So yeah, I mentioned a call out to Rudy there. On that one, we tried it, as Lauren said, we tried to divvy up, responsibilities. But Rudy like has been going above and beyond, and like, he had a week where he was supposed to do PRs and he did a great job. And then the following week, like he still went on and did PRs for everyone, and did a great job at it. Right. Like I was looking down, I was like, all right, well, I don't really have much else to say because like you all and Rudy have covered it all. So that's awesome. Best way to do a PR is to go down and be like, everything's been said. Thumbs up. So Rudy's been doing a great job jumping and helping. And then if you scroll down, I have one a bit further. Oh, wait, there it is. Yep. So yeah, pretty much everyone, right? Lindsay, Elena, DJ, Shelly, all of you have been super engaged, right? Like I can understand like, when you only have, you're signing up for this thing to be like 5 hours a week and, like you're juggling other stuff in your life to just kind of check in like at one point in the week or something like that, don't tell anyone that's what I do at my university classes. So like, that's totally a thing that people do when doing stuff online that you don't have to go in person, but you all have really been just invested, right? Like whether it's showing up to office hours, DJ, like you said, like, and just chatting and getting to know each other, or whether it's how quickly you all jump on and like get the thing done. And it's like middle of the week, end of week is kind of just, pretty quiet because you all like did everything for the week. And then you're just kind of chilling for the rest of the week. So you all have jumped in and done a great job. And I think that being on top of things like is really helpful to your fellow collabbies, right? Like if someone was like waiting for a long time to get things done, like that could make things harder on everyone. So I think that's just great how much you're looking out for each other and really engaged. So thank you. And I was in what to be improved that we'll get to. Eddie should prepare more for a retro because I didn't think things through and I was jumping between columns so much. I didn't write this one down, but also like Rudy and I have mentioned this off in our little private channel, but I would like to say it publicly for all of you as well. But like Lauren, is the only mentor that has actually gone through the process before. And so it's just been great seeing kind of like her knowledge and her leadership, and has really helped Rudy and I because we're kind of like, you all and her have said very nice things. We're kind of like little fish swimming in the water, just trying to figure things out. So thank you, Lauren, for everything you're doing for the team. I think the structure and stability, everything would get done if you weren't here, but it wouldn't be as smooth and it wouldn't be as enjoyable. So you definitely bring both of those. Thank you.
Thanks. I think Elena's left, right?
Yeah, as usual. I didn't type a lot, I'm slow typer, but I have something to say. So I'm very grateful to mentors, Eddie, Lauren, and Rudy, who is not here. So this fact that we have you like you're taking our you're behind our back. So this fact is like makes me more. Oh, okay, sorry. So like the fact that we can ask you, so you can you will answer any question, and your prior comments is like really appreciated. And I already during the 2 weeks, I already learned a lot from you, and the fact I can learn from people who already have an experience, it's really it's like a awesome. Thank you guys. And my team, I feel lucky. Have you as part of my team, guys? I didn't work with DJ yet, but Shelly, I want to say, like, I also learned a lot from you during our programming. Yeah, that's true. So you're very thoughtful too, and you went prepared, not like me last time. So, and the fact how you prepare for this demo, it's great. You helped me a lot last week. And Lindsay, it was a pleasure to work with you too. You're very fast and quick thinking, so it really helps me to, because sometimes I like, maybe I can start in one place because I like to overthink sometimes, but it's a great experience to work with you too. So that's it. Thank you. Oh, also, yeah, and about our PR, sorry. Yeah, so this comments, and like, usually you make this PR request like more alive because you like, write a lot, and so it makes it like, it's cool to see that, you know, like that it's like process is going on, and we can discuss like any stuff.
Oh, awesome. Those are also how everyone is so specific. That was really great feedback. Okay, moving on to what went well. These will probably be a little smaller versions of appreciations, but Eddie, do you want to start?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I noticed, great comments in the PRs, and like even where people asked questions, right? Like they create the PR and then they're like, hey, I'm not sure about this, or things like that. So definitely really great PR practice that you all are doing. And yeah, just really embracing pair programming and walking away, right, with the demos each week. It's clear that both people in the pair understand what's going on, and it's not just like one person's doing it and the other person's along for the ride. So you're really jumping in, and yeah, and then obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the speed at which everyone is working so quickly and not waiting till the last minute. So all of that's really working well.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah, I echo everything Eddie said. And the PRs have, like, you guys started off so strong with those, especially since some of you hadn't done them before. So everything has been really descriptive and thorough. You've been so thoughtful and careful in your code submissions, like really double checked, triple checked your work. And the timing, like it seems like front loading early in the week has really worked out well for this team. So yeah, really great. Elena?
Yeah, I like pair programming. It was a new experience for me, and I find it like very helpful, and I learned a lot, and it's a great experience. And yeah, NPR discussions very helpful. Sometimes you like you don't see the problem or a different angle. It's really cool.
Great. Shelly? Oh, I think you're muted.
Thought the little space bar was going to work, but it didn't. So yeah, we're doing really well with the PRs. I like reading them, and the comments too are great, going through them and merging. And I can say we're getting good at that because I did it all by myself this afternoon and didn't mess anything up. Yeah, it was a little weird, couple weird steps. So that's getting a lot more comfortable. So that's cool. And I love our front loading. I didn't put it in there, but I love that we get our stuff done on Monday, Tuesday. Because that way, if we ever do run into problems, we have a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah, seriously. Lindsay?
Yeah, I think just echoing, like, our time management has been great. I like how there's always someone like pushing us forward. Like the merge has to happen. Somebody might not be on the computer or might not be thinking about it in the morning, but the merge has to happen. Someone mentions it, then we start getting the ball rolling. DJ, Shelly, and Elena have all been great about mentioning things to me, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like, I just love how we kind of like bounce off each other and are always like moving forward on the project, even if someone else is like away or busy right now. We're just kind of always reminding each other like what needs to happen next, or someone's like making it happen, which is extremely helpful. And it's not just like one person, we're all kind of rotating in that position too.
Yeah. You got it, DJ.
Yeah, so I would say the pair programming for sure has just been awesome. again, just like having that experience, you know, having multiple people looking at a problem and talking through it is just, it's how it should be done, I think. I mean, it's just so much fun, and it's a great way to tackle these stories. Also, I do want to give a shout out to whoever created the PR template, because that thing is beautiful. It really helps, I think, like just organize our thoughts and like get everything out there in a really nice way. So 2 thumbs up for that.
Yeah, apparently they stole that from Zapier, or maybe they created it for Zapier and then also used it here, but cool. Okay, and then what can be improved? I think everyone just did 1 ticket, so when it's your turn, you don't, I won't announce you this time. Oh, I was saying, honestly, from my perspective, things have seemed to be going really well, so I don't have much to say, about what could be improved. I guess communication I feel like it could be a little bit more in the main channel. You guys must be communicating partially on your own, or at least some of the teams I think were this week, you know, like outside, but it would just, I think it's a little, it's helpful to use the thread, just because then we can follow along and we can kind of be creepers, like flies on the wall, but, you know, see where you are in your process. And it's helpful to look back later if you share resources or something there, just so that in case you're like in the future wondering why some decision was made, in addition to obviously you're talking PRs. And I brought this up in our office hour this week, but I think this team could probably use some like extra side tickets. Even like Shelly said, maybe dealing with, if you don't want to switch tokens, I don't think that's one of these tickets, but if you guys want to at some point, if you're interested in creating something like that, or like a log out button or something like that, I think this team would do really well adding some of your own features, since you seem to go above and beyond anyway all the time. So.
So I don't have experience to resolve conflicts. I tried 2 times, but so it's something I would be interested to try maybe next time when we will be merging. So invite me, or maybe I'll try to merge myself.
I don't know why, because I've been using GitHub, you know, since the start of my boot camp, but I like have problems finding stuff every single time. I have to go 14 different places. So I want that to click. I need that to click.
Yeah, I think I would echo what Lauren said about maybe extending some things, or like incorporating like unit testing or something like that, to just kind of like, just have another layer of something that we might like encounter in the real world would be cool. So yeah, something to maybe look into. I'd also say like our communication, like I feel like everything happens in a flurry and on like Monday, and then like it's kind of quiet until Friday. And like, I don't know, like of course we all have stuff going on. We have lives and jobs and everything like that. But like, you know, just kind of like keeping the communication up in Slack would be cool.
I agree. I wish I talked more in Slack, but then I always get shy and self-conscious of like spamming. So I'm gonna try to be more active about that. Also, we were talking about accessibility, you know, where this week, and I thought that we should use a button because I understand, you know, semantic is more accessible, but I don't really understand why. And at some point, I would like to really figure out what it means to use accessible features versus not. Like our options, our radio buttons, even semantic, are they accessible friendly? And so it would be, I would like to like learn firsthand what the difference is and what kind of that makes in those kind of areas. But yeah, that's for me.
Cool. Yeah, just a couple comments only because while we're here. So Lindsay, just so you know, we have an accessibility module. I think it's the last one. And usually Andrew gives it if he's free. But we also, there used to be some like Collab Lab TED Talks, and one of them was by a accessibility like specialist. So if we can find them, maybe you'd be interested in seeing that. And Shelly, you asked where they go when they're closed, and once they're merged, they go here, this close button.
And that's what I mean. Like it's right there and totally obvious now. So
no, but it's because
it looks
like, I get it. It's like it took me a little bit to figure that out too originally.
So that's a button. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so the last thing, and yeah, Eddie, please feel free to jump in if you want to. But these are the tickets for this week. So our partners are Alina and DJ, and then Shelly and Lindsay. And the first ticket, here we go. Tokens can be shared with others. So joining an existing list consists of entering a token, saving the token to local storage, you show the user the existing list. The ACs include when the user doesn't have a token in local storage, a simple form is displayed to allow them to enter a token. Entering the token and submitting it saves it to local storage, giving them joint control. On submit, if it doesn't exist, there's an error. And if they get an error, allow them to try again or create a new list. And there's a couple notes here. For instance, I think this was in a past ticket, but a basic wireframe, you can start to get an idea of what you're going for. And two options here as well. So like you can either save the Firestore only if the list has something, or you can save to it when it's empty. So just some options whoever gets this ticket can talk through. And then the other ticket, as a user, I want to be alerted when I'm entering an item that is the same as something already on my list. So I can avoid duplicate items. So you're showing error messages if a user tries to submit an item with the exact name on the list, or if they try to submit something with the same name where capitalization has been normalized and any punctuation has been removed. So they can kind of go crazy with like exclamation B, you know, underscore A, N-A-N-E, B-A-N-A-N-A, banana, yes. So you know what I mean? But whatever their original input is, that's what should be saved to the database. So if they went crazy with punctuation, you want that to be what they see. Yeah, and this one is slightly more straightforward. So do we have any takers for one or the other?
Alina, you can pick. I'm cool with whichever one.
We will say, okay, we will take maybe previous one.
Which one?
Previous.
Number 5, okay.
Number 6, the 5.
This one?
This one.
Is that, okay, great. Is that okay for you guys, Shelly and Lindsay?
Yes, good.
Yeah. Awesome. So I will not share the screen while I assign it, since we all know what happened last time. Do you guys mind taking a second and trying to set up your branches? If you want to share your screen, you can, or if you want to try it on your own and then flag us if there's an issue. But maybe if each team can just pick one person to start the branch and the other to grab it.
Lindsay, you want to do it?
Yes. Let me. This might be a switching. Okay, yes. Okay. Errors. I'm just gonna keep the name short because I feel like that works best. So git checkout, git push origin, like so, and it should be on GitHub. And again, it's sm-ld-errors, plural. Oh, you're muted. I'm stopping for you to share. Okay.
And I got it.
Okay, great.
Not yet. How do we want to call it? Just give me a name.
Let's see. We could do am-dj-join existing list. looks good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Good. Okay, I'm in. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I hope you all have a great week. Alina, if you guys have any issues with merge, if it would help, feel free to reach out to us, and maybe one of the mentors can be there while you do a merge conflict, and make sure if you have questions, feel free to ping us if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody, please cross your fingers extra hard for me because the Bills are playing now. So I really, really want them to win and go to the Super Bowl. But yeah.
Nice.
I love your earrings too.
What did you say?
I love your earrings too.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
They're ready.
Yeah, kudos to you for being here while they're playing. That's,
One time when I was muted, someone popped their head and was like, "It's tied." Thank you.
Yeah,
And you're still sitting here?
If they make it to the Super Bowl, I might ask if we can do it another time, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Don't want to put the cart before the horse. So. Okay, great. I think your
Right.
your threads are set, but yeah, please reach out to us if you need anything, and otherwise have an awesome weekend.
Great job, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.